everyone, welcome back to the channel Pharma Focus. I hope you guys are doing really great. I'm back with another video, and this time the video is going to be about follow-up in pharmacovigilance. So let's first start with the introduction, the purpose of follow-up, and in the coming videos, I'll be talking about the methods of follow-up, ethical and legal considerations, and how follow-ups are conducted and maintained. So let's first discuss about what a follow-up is. So when we talk about follow-up in layman terms, then this is any process in which we obtain any additional or missing information. But when we talk about it in regard to PV, then it is obtaining of additional or missing information which is related to the previously received ICSR, that is an initial ICSR, but it is not complete. It may lack some important details, and that is why a follow-up is conducted so that we can ensure that the report is complete, accurate, and it is scientifically useful as well. So major parameters that can lack may include the patient age, sex, outcome of the reaction, or when we talk about in regard to the drug, then it may include the batch number of drug or vaccine, the drug dosage, and the dates, and it may also include the medical history as well. So the complete data is required for the proper clinical assessment, and that is why the follow-ups are majorly conducted. So we will be discussing about the detailed thing that how follow-ups are conducted in the coming video. So I won't be touching that topic here. And if I talk about the definition which is listed here, then it is the systematic effort made by marketing authorization holder, competent authority, or the regulatory body to collect any additional data about an adverse reaction case report that was incomplete when it was first received. So when we talk about MAH or the marketing authorization holder, so it refers to any kind of company or any organization which is legally responsible for placing a medicine or a medicinal product on the market. So this can majorly include the pharmaceutical companies that develop or manufacture the drug, or any company that receives approval from the regulatory authority, or any company that holds the right to sell or market the product. Now, this include examples like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Novartis, Sun Pharma, etc. Next up is the competent authority. Now, competent authority, it refers to any kind of government agency that is within a country, and it is officially designated to regulate the medicines and ensure the public safety. So this is primarily a national authority which is responsible for some activities. So the competent authorities, if we talk about the examples, then we have Cedisco in India, we have FDA in US, etc. And the third part, which is the regulatory body. So this is a broader term. It is an organization, as when we talk about regulatory bodies which regulate things in US, then it is FDA. If we talk about UK, then it is MHRA. And likewise in many other countries, we have various regulatory bodies that protect the public health by ensuring that the medicines, they are safe, effective, and the quality is assured. So next up we have how these regulatory authorities and competent authorities, they are different. So when we talk about the regulatory authority, it is a very broad term. It is an organization that regulate the medicines, and it can be international, regional, or national. So like we have EMA, WHO, we have FDA. So when we talk about the international level, we have WHO. If we are talking about EMA, FDA, then these are related to particular countries, US and European Union. And if we talk about competent authority, then it is a specific authority which is within a country and is legally designated to carry out the regulatory tasks. So every competent authority is a regulatory authority, but not every regulatory authority is a competent authority, because the competent authority is more legal, it is country specific. All right, so that's the introduction of what exactly a follow-up is. Now let's discuss about the purpose of the follow-up. So when adverse event report it first comes in, then it might lack important clinical or product information which is needed to properly evaluate the case. So to make every reported event, every reported ICSR scientifically sound, accurate, and useful for the safety monitoring, we conduct follow-ups. So the first point here is obtaining the missing information necessary for case validation or assessment. So this highlights to the minimum required criteria, which is important to make the report as valid, which involves the identifiable patient, reporter, a suspect drug, and adverse drug event description. So if any of these criteria are missing, the case cannot be entered as a valid ICSR, and therefore the follow-up is needed to fill these gaps so that the case can become eligible for for it to be considered as a valid ICSR. If we talk about the second point, then it is clarifying the clinical details, example, the diagnosis, lab results, and medical history. So at times, reportedly, when some there are some cases in which usually the consumer is the reporter who is not having any kind of medical background possibly, and in those cases sometimes the terms are used are really vague and they are not complete. So for example, a person states uh, the initial report has dizziness, rash, or abdominal pain without any particular context, like what can be this the reason behind the same. So, to evaluate the seriousness and meaning of that event, we need a clear diagnosis, we need lab results, investigations, any kind of medical history, or any risk factors as well. Or there are scenarios in which a person is taking concomitant medications, and what was the timeline of the symptoms, what was the treatment, what was the response. So follow up, it helps the safety team to ensure to turn a vague kind of complaint into a complete clinical picture. Next up, we have confirming the patient outcome, recovery, ongoing or death. So, knowing how the patient is doing is very important. So, follow up helps us to determine whether the outcome was recovered, recovering, not recovered, or recovered with sequel, or it is fatal. So, this in turn helps us to ensure that the case is serious, or what are the regulatory reporting timelines, or what is the overall risk evaluation of the case. Next point is verifying the product details, that is the name, batch number, dose, indication. So accurate product identification is very important in safety issues, that the person has reported an exact product name, formulation, batch or lot number, dosage and frequency, or anything else like indication, duration of the therapy, which is related to the medicines or vaccines. So, particularly when we talk about biologicals and vaccines, then verifying the batch number is very important to ensure that the manufacturing differences are not affecting the safety. So, follow up here ensures that the details are correct and complete. Next point is determining the causality and identifying the new or changed risks. So when we do a follow-up, it helps us to gather the information which is needed for the causality assessment. What causality assessment is? It is the determination where we clarify that the drug actually caused the reaction. So this requires complete timelines, medical history, re-challenge, de-challenge info, and any kind of other important information. So complete information, it also helps us to identify the new risks, change in the known risk, or any kind of rare events. So, follow up directly supports the signal detection, risk assessment, and regulatory decision making. So, that's all for the part one of the video for follow ups, and we will be discussing about the coming parts in the next video. I hope you guys like this video and do subscribe to my channel, and